My name is Kirthi Premadasa, and I'm the one who's scheduled to give the session on D2L quizzes. And I thought I'll put up a video tutorial to support you with the session so that you can go back later and actually go through what I would be doing. Now, here I am on the basic D2L main page. So the first thing I should do before creating a quiz is to select what course that I need to do it for. So let's say I want to do it for my Math 222, which is a Calc 2 class. So I'll go and click that. Now the next thing I should do is I should put some questions in the question library. So what I do is I go to Instructor Tools here, and I will look at quizzes. There is no separate link for question library, but there is one for quizzes. But inside that one, you can see there's a link called question library, and then if you click that, you get the question library. Now I have a whole lot of questions which I have actually created and imported from my previous class. So a nice thing about creating a question library is that once you are done with the semester and you have going into your next class, you can import to your new class all the questions that you created for the older class. So these are the ones that I created last spring for my Calc 2 class, which I have imported now. But for the purpose of this session, let's create a fun kind of question and then put it in the quiz. So there are a whole lot of questions which are available. True or false, multiple choice, multi-select question, long answer, short answer, multi, and fill in the blanks, matching question, audit question, arithmetic questions, and linked questions and stuff like that. Okay, so quite a lot of choices. So I usually select multiple choice questions. So let's for the reason that they can be auto graded also, and they're automatically saved. But occasionally I would select other questions like long answer questions. Okay, and so here's my first multiple choice question. So let's call country capitals. So I can give number of points for that. So I should give 5 points per question because my quizzes have 3 questions, and then I assign 5 points for each, which totals 15 points. So I will put 5 points here. The level of difficulty I can change, but I will remain this as 1. So if it's a harder question and you want the students to see that it's a harder question, you can change it from here. So here I would put up a text, and if I want, I can have an advanced thing where I can have the text box you can put subscripts, and you can put powers, and then italics, and then you can even create all kinds of things like links and symbols. You can get mathematicians like that, they can actually get a number of weird symbols from this one, and they can have you have an equation editor too, right, from this one, and spell checker, and link, you can put a link for whatever text that you're putting. So it's pretty much like a Word. So you can even if you already have the question in a Word document, you can actually get it pasted from Word. So lots of possibilities are available, but so for that I don't have time to explain everything. So I just put up a small question, right? The capital of India is. Let's call it Sri Lanka. Sorry, is it a question for those who don't understand? Okay, so so that's my question. So capital of Sri Lanka is, and then if you want, I can add a file to that, right? And from the hard disk, like an image, right? And then I can put my answers. So my first answer would be Delhi, and that I put 0 because that's not the correct answer. And then Colombo, which is the correct answer, so I would put 100 points here. And then for this one I would put Jaffna, which is not the correct answer, and then I would put some other thing like Matara. Again, it's not the correct answer, so I put 0. Weightage is 0, weightage is 0, weightage is 100. So basically I'm done with the question. Right? And what I do now is actually, if I want to create another question, right, okay, I would save and new, but right now I would just save it. So now you can see that my question will appear at the very end, country capitals. Now if I want to, I can preview the question or edit. So now I can see this is how the question will look like to the student, and the student will not see the answer, but this is for our reference. And now the question that I created is in the question bank, so I can now go ahead and create the quiz. So I'll go back to quizzes, then I put new quiz. So I name for the quiz, let's call it quiz 1, and I can delete it later on. I don't want this to be the quiz that I'm going to give to my students at the beginning of the semester. So there's no category here, and grade item. Now I have already created the grade book, and there is a grade item called quiz 1, so I'm going to assign that grade item to that. This will make sure that if it is auto graded, then I can automatically save the grade in this particular location, which is quiz 1, so that the student will see the quiz score immediately after he or she finishes the quiz. But then in order to do that, I must also make sure that I need to allow automatic export to grades, and then I must also allow attempt to be set as graded immediately upon completion. You can ask them to go portfolio if you like to, right? And then now that's the basic properties. Now I go to restrictions. So the first thing you must do is to make your quiz active. I always do that. That doesn't mean that they can see it immediately. You can always put restrictions, right? So what I do is, now here I would put the quiz access date, and this is not the time for the actual quiz. I mean, for example, if you want a quiz to be done in 30 minutes, this is not the 30 minutes. This is actually when they can actually access the quiz. But once they access the quiz, then there's another place where you can actually tell how much time they have. So here I would access it, say now, which is today is the 24th, so I would say I can just change it and say I would access it from the 28th, and then I can put time, and I would put I usually put it something like 11, and then as the end date I usually give 24 hours, and so I would give 29, and you can talk to your students and kind of get an idea as to what the most convenient 24-hour slot that they prefer. So I have given them access for 24 hours. Now there are some release conditions, like how you want the grade to appear, but for the time being let's not go there. You can set a time limit. I usually set 60 minutes for my quiz, which is more than necessary because there are only 3 questions, but I allow for various things going wrong, computers crashing, and then suddenly, because students might take this from their home, so internet loss, So you can't account for everything, but I give them and then I put enforced and show clock, and then so the grace period of 5 minutes, which I usually keep at 5 minutes. You can change it if you want to. And I'm usually strict about the submission. Once they're finished, they have to, if I use normal submissions, right? I mean, then that means that they can just submit anytime. But I will just put a use of late limit or 1 minute. So that means even after they have finished, right? They have a 1 minute of late, and then you have a grace period also. So and then if I right now you have advanced availability. So this is kind of useful. I mean, if you have a student with an accommodation plan, then actually you could actually find that particular student, right? And by clicking here, so by clicking here, and then you can add them. Or else, if you want to give a student makeup for the quiz, and then later on during your office hours, for some reason the student is unable to come to class during the quiz time, and then if your policy allows makeup, my policy is usually very strict for quizzes. I rarely allow makeup, but it's totally up to you. If you do allow makeup, then you could do that. And then the third one is attempts. If you want the student to have one attempt into one attempt, and I usually have one and highest attempt. And subject submission views, I would always like to put. Now the thing is, I mean, if you don't want them to see the questions, right, then you can just leave it as that. And afterwards, this is what they would see after they submit. Now, I generally use this view, which does not contain the answers the students have submitted, neither does it contain the questions, right, after they finish, because I don't want them to discuss questions and answers with their colleagues after they do the D2L quiz. But afterwards, after the quiz is over, I give them an opportunity to see the questions and the answers, and I do that by I create an additional view, in which case I can give the view a name, say answer view, right, and then I can tell them that I would like them to show questions, and then I usually click yes for this one. I also create yes for this one, but right now I'm not going to do that, so I'm going to cancel that. So now I'm done with that. Now it's time to for the most important part really is to add questions. So what I'm going to do is add questions, right? So I'm not going to create new questions. I already have a whole bunch of questions in my my question library, so I'm going to just import that. So I'm going to just say question library, right, and then which section is to import, and then I can say collection root, and there I can put any 3 questions. So let's put the 3 questions that I created last, and then and then they're okay, right? Okay, and then what I can do is I'm done, right? Okay, because I have 3 questions, and then I have 5 points for each, and then I'm done. And now it's time to save and close. Now my quiz is ready, and you can see it's open from 28th 11 a.m. to 29th 11 a.m. and then if I want to preview my quiz, always very good thing to preview your quiz. So start quiz. Now you are previewing, and it tells you that okay. So you get you can see the questions as exactly how the student would see them. So let's put some crazy answers here. I don't know. And I would just save the answer. The student can save all responses, right? Okay, and I would just go to submit quiz. And now it's quizzes, right? Yep. So I only got 1 correct. No, that's not very good for a math professor. So I got 33.3, and that's it. So I don't have much time, so what I did was actually I gave a quick review of how D2L quiz is conducted, and later on maybe I will put another a video on some of the advanced features like how to get images into the quiz and stuff like that. But for the time being, this is it. Okay, this is Kirthi signing off.